We're talking all about communication, effective and playful communication, which are both super important things to have so that communication doesn't become daunting or something that we put off because we think it's going to be really painful. Like, I don't want to talk about this topic, so we avoid it. And we are speaking with Lee Smith, who is a communications expert. And the question that we had before break, I asked Lee, what was the first thing when we decided, like at the age of 8, Lee's having this conversation with herself about figuring out who she is, knowing that her mother's voice isn't hers, her father's voice in her head isn't hers, and she's got her own voice. And what did that voice want to say to the world? So what did your voice want to say to the world, Lee?
Oh gosh, well, it's that ongoing question, and it is almost what happened the first time I played that mirror game with myself, right? Who am I? And isn't that a question that almost haunts or teases us the rest of our lives? I'm over 50 now, so like for 5 decades, it's like, sure, it's been chasing me, like, who am I? And when we are teenagers, there's so much telling us who and what we are. And then asking ourselves, do we even take that opportunity? And when we do choose to do that, do we then choose to listen to all the voices inside of us, around us? Or do we choose to grab a hold of our own power and our own voice and say, wait a minute, I don't need to listen to any of you. This is who I am. And for me and my personal journey, Milica, I was on that really fine line between arrogance and confidence, because I did know who I was. And I was so confident in who I was. I thought at this time I was very spiritual and very engrossed in my faith journey. So I'm like, I am a child of God. And that in and of itself makes me lovable. And so I wanted to convey that to others, that you are lovable, whether you feel loved or you don't feel loved. I know there are instances in life where we don't feel loved, but that doesn't mean you're not lovable. You are totally lovable. And when you can get into the amazingness that you are, even as a young teenager, and this is a message I carry into today, and looking at you have brilliance. My message today is you have 3 G's, that you have genius, you have gifts, and you have greatness within you. And the genius is all those things that you think about it and you learn it so quick. It's the knowledge that you just soak up. You can't get enough of it. And when you find somebody else who shares that commonality, you just geek out in conversation about all of those things. And then your gifts are kind of the way that you express. I look at it as a way of expressing yourself. Like, one of my gifts is public speaking. One of my gifts is hugs. One of my gifts is holding space for people. And some people might say I have a gift for dancing, or another way of expressing myself. Other gifts might be an athletic ability, or somebody can paint. They're poetic. They're songwriters. They're musicians, and they are dancers, or the way that they do theatrical performance. So there's all types of, and it's like I said, it's a way of expressing ourselves, and it's a gift that we bring out into the world. And it can be gifts of leadership, like I can take the lead, or I have a gift of advocacy. I stand up for people and I fight for them. So that comes in all different shapes and forms and expressions, like I said. And then the greatness, it's that whole essence of who you are.